So, yeah, Astro Bot did win Game of the Year, as I voted for. Even though it's just a light, fun platformer, there's nothing going on. It's not pulling any punches at all. I voted for it. Sue me. God forbid a man have fun. God forbid a man have fun. But it's made a lot of people really, really, really upset, and I think it's really funny. And that there's something significant that the mass audience can learn from this whole thing. It's one of those things that stops, and people really should wonder if they haven't played this game. Maybe there's something more going on, Maybe it's not all about how many people I can kill in a video game, how many meaningless decisions I can make with these pixels, how many characters can I get attached to, How many people can I romance in my video game? How immersive, how realistic is it? Because when we often think about all these games that get the most attention, we usually think of the big heavy hitters being those darker, slower games that really make you reflect on life and really make you loathe all of everything happening. I hate playing so many of these games because they just feel like a slog to get. I don't want realism in my games that often. I don't need to go pee every hour in Death Stranding. It's a video game. Let me not pee. Often these games that end up winning these prestigious awards and get all this high praise from everyone are games that take you really deep into the human struggle, into grief or survival or complex moral choices. And those games are powerful. Don't get me wrong, they have their place. I love games like that often. They make us feel, they make us confront things that we'd often rather not. But Astro Bot, well, it doesn't do any of that. It's colorful, it's playful, it's fun, it's funny, it's very self-aware of the fact it's a video game. It doesn't even try to pretend to be anything it's not. It doesn't ask anything of you. It just wants you to play, have fun, and really live in the moment. And maybe that's what makes it so refreshing to me, to see it win. In a world that is constantly just pulling us in like a million different directions, demanding that we constantly search for meaning, that we constantly find solutions and confront our problems head on. Astro Bot offers something simpler. Something like that does not demand anything from us. It doesn't ask us to question the world or our place in it. It doesn't ask us to ask ourselves any deeper questions. It just says, have fun, enjoy. And maybe in a way, that's what we need sometimes. You don't always have to watch David Lynch. You don't always have to play Red Dead Redemption. There is more in this world than just consuming the most emotional media you can. And there's something existential about that, right? I mean, we're living in a world that often feels absurd, and it's full of chaos and uncertainty and complexity. The kind of world where it feels like we're almost always chasing meaning, searching for something deeper, something profound to give life its sense of purpose. It's a lot like what's talked about in the myth of Sisyphus that we talked about in philosophy class. The struggle for meaning in a world that, in the grand scheme, is not able to provide a meaning. And yet, as it suggests, there's value in that struggle, in choosing to live with that uncertainty. When everything feels pointless, Astro Bot does not ask us to wrestle with that absurdity. It doesn't demand that we find meaning or search for answers in a chaotic world. Again, it's just there. It invites us to experience joy in the simplest of things, in the jump of a little robot, in the discovery of a new path, And maybe that's a kind of meaning too, not in solving anything or finding some profound answer, but in simply living, in showing up, in choosing to engage with the world even when it's not perfectly clear. I think that's why Astrobot gives me hope, because it reminds us that not everything has to be about struggle or trying to make sense of the chaos around us. Not everything has to be a deep existential question solving the meaning of life and its purpose. Sometimes there's something powerful in simply being present, in allowing yourself to experience something for what it is, no strings attached. We often get caught up in thinking that meaning can only come from challenge, from wrestling with life's difficulties, because that's what we've been taught. But Astrobot shows us that meaning can be simple too, that joy and play in their own way have their own kind of value. It's not about ignoring the hard things in life, but remembering that there's room for fun, there's room for this lightness, for simplicity, for freedom. Sometimes the best thing we can do is just be and just enjoy the ride. So yeah, Astrobot did win Game of the Year. And in a way, it feels like a small but meaningful reminder that life doesn't always have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be about finding deep, heavy meaning in everything. Sometimes joy is its own kind of freedom. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.